April 1st, 2026. As the first blush of dawn spills across Ruaha, the land stirs beneath a sky painted in pale gold and lavender. The sun's earliest rays reveal a world sculpted by hardship, where every shadow and shimmer tells a story of endurance. The air is cool, but already tinged with the promise of heat to come, and the silence is broken only by the distant calls of birds greeting the day. In the heart of Tanzania, Ruaha National Park sprawls across the landscape, its once verdant plains now faded to ochre and dust. The dry season has tightened its grip, stretching on for months without mercy. Grasses, once lush and green, now stand brittle and yellow, their blades whispering in the restless wind. The trees, scattered and stoic, cast long thin shadows over the cracked earth, their leaves curled and sparse, conserving every drop of precious moisture. The great Ruaha River, once a pulsing artery of life, has been reduced to a memory, a winding ribbon of sand and stone. Its banks, etched with the footprints of countless animals, are now silent and exposed, the mud split into deep fissures that speak of relentless thirst. Acacia trees, their roots delving deep into the earth, stand as ancient witnesses to the cycles of abundance and deprivation that define this land. Across the parched riverbed, life persists in a delicate balance. Elephants, the architects of the savannah, use their powerful trunks to dig into the sand, unearthing hidden pockets of moisture that sustain not only themselves, but countless other species. Antelope, their coats dulled by dust, move with measured caution, every sense attuned to the faintest hint of water or the approach of danger. Even the smallest creatures, termites, beetles, and ants, navigate the labyrinth of cracks, each seeking sustenance in the unforgiving terrain. As the sun climbs higher, the land transforms beneath its glare. Dust rises in shimmering clouds, painting the horizon in hues of bronze and amber. The heat distorts the air, turning distant trees into wavering mirages. Lizards, nimble and alert, dart from stone to stone, their scales reflecting the harsh light as they seek refuge in the scant shade. Insects burrow beneath the surface, escaping the searing temperatures above. Herds of zebra and wildebeest traverse the plains in search of sustenance, their movements slow and deliberate. Each step is calculated, conserving energy as they graze on the last remnants of brittle grass. Their bodies, lean and sinewy, bear the marks of a season spent in constant motion. Calves and foals, born into scarcity, learn quickly to follow the herd's rhythm, their survival dependent on the wisdom of their elders. In the shadows, predators watch with unwavering focus. Lions, their tawny coats blending seamlessly with the sun-bleached grass, move with silent precision. The pride's survival hinges on patience and timing, as they stalk weakened prey drawn to the shrinking waterholes. Every hunt is a gamble, every chase a test of strength and strategy. The eyes of a lioness, sharp and unblinking, lock onto a distant antelope, her intent clear, her resolve unyielding. The few remaining waterholes become crucibles of tension. Here the boundaries between predator and prey blur, as all are drawn by the same desperate need. Impalas approach the water's edge with trembling caution, their ears flicking at every sound. The air is thick with anticipation, each animal acutely aware that a single misstep could mean the difference between life and death. At these rare oases, the full spectrum of Ruaha's wildlife converges. Elephants, matriarchs leading their families, assert their dominance with low rumbles and flared ears. Buffalo, formidable and unyielding, form protective barriers around their young. Giraffes, ever vigilant, splay their legs awkwardly to reach the water, their long necks craning to scan for threats even as they drink. Lions linger at the periphery, their presence a constant reminder of the risks that come with every sip. Amidst the desolation, a single oasis offers a lifeline. The glade, nourished by a hidden spring, bursts with unexpected vitality. Here, emerald foliage crowds the banks, and the air is cool and fragrant with the scent of damp earth. Water bubbles up from the depths, clear and life-giving, a stark contrast to the arid plains beyond. This sanctuary draws creatures from miles around, each one staking its claim to the precious resource. The glade becomes a stage for the daily drama of survival. Herds jostle for space, their bodies pressed close in uneasy truce. Birds, from iridescent kingfishers to raucous hornbills, descend in flurries, their wings flashing as they bathe and drink. The air is alive with the sounds of splashing, trumpeting, and the low, urgent calls of animals driven by thirst. Each moment at the water's edge is fraught with risk, as predators lurk nearby and tempers flare among the desperate. Beneath the surface, unseen dangers await. Crocodiles, masters of patience, lie submerged with only their eyes breaking the water's surface. They wait for the unwary, their presence a silent threat that shapes every movement at the water's edge. Antelope and zebra drink in quick, nervous bursts, muscles tensed for flight at the slightest ripple. The balance between predator and prey is never more precarious than here, where the need for water overrides all caution. For the lion pride, the oasis is both sanctuary and battleground. Cubs, their fur still soft and spotted, approach the water under the watchful gaze of their mothers. Every lesson is learned quickly, how to drink without lowering their guard, how to sense danger in the rustle of reeds or the flicker of movement. The future of the pride depends on these vulnerable young, and the adults remain ever vigilant, ready to defend against threats from rival predators or the sudden charge of a buffalo. The Waterhole is a place of constant negotiation. Buffalo form tight circles around their calves, horns lowered in silent warning to any who would challenge them. Predators test the boundaries, probing for weakness, while prey animals band together in uneasy alliances. Every encounter is a delicate dance, a test of nerve and instinct played out beneath the unblinking gaze of the sun. Above it all, vultures circle in patient arcs, their keen eyes scanning for any sign of vulnerability. The savannah below is a tapestry of struggle and adaptation, where only the most resourceful survive. Each day brings new challenges, and every nightfall is met with a mixture of relief and apprehension as the darkness brings its own set of dangers. In Ruaha, resilience is not a choice, but a necessity. Lone animals and small herds traverse the barren landscape, their movements purposeful and unyielding. Even the plants, roots, anchored deep in the fractured soil, push forth new shoots in defiance of the drought. Here, every living thing is shaped by the land's demands, and survival is the ultimate testament to the enduring spirit of the wild. Ruaha is a kingdom ruled by lions, where the golden grasslands unfurl beneath the relentless African sun, and every undulation in the terrain may conceal a predator, a rival, or the subtle traces of a recent hunt. The air is thick with the scent of wild sage and dust, carried on the wind that whispers through the acacia groves and stirs the tall grasses, masking the silent approach of Africa's most formidable carnivores. The land is meticulously partitioned among three dominant prides, each presiding over a unique domain defined by ancient migration routes, the subtle topography of the plains, and the invisible boundaries marked by scent and ritual. These territories are not static. They shift with the seasons, the ebb and flow of prey, and the fortunes of each pride. The Glade pride, renowned for its wisdom and longevity, safeguards the life-giving oasis at the park's heart. Here, the elders, scarred by years of survival, impart crucial lessons to the cubs: how to interpret the shifting wind, how to distinguish the distant thunder of hooves from the approach of danger, and how to read the subtle cues of the bush. The matriarchs, ever vigilant, orchestrate a fragile peace at the water's edge where crocodiles lurk and thirsty antelope gather, and where a single misjudgment can mean disaster. The Baobab pride, the largest in Ruaha, flourishes through intricate cooperation and sheer numbers. Their hunts are masterclasses in silent communication. Tail flicks, ear twitches, and subtle body language coordinate the pride's movements as they fan out through the tall grass. While the adults execute their ambush, the cubs remain hidden, watched over by a sentinel learning the choreography of the hunt through observation and play. The nomadic Nja pride shadows the immense buffalo herds, their existence shaped by the unpredictable rhythms of migration and scarcity. Unlike their more settled counterparts, the Nja are opportunists, constantly adapting their tactics, reading the subtle shifts in herd behavior, and exploiting moments of vulnerability. Their survival hinges on flexibility, patience, and the ability to vanish into the landscape when challenged. Each pride's survival is intricately tied to its mastery of the land and the subtle art of territorial defense. Borders are drawn not by visible barriers, but by scent marks, vocalizations, and the collective memory of past confrontations. These boundaries are constantly tested, with every patrol and every growl reinforcing the delicate balance of power. Along the peripheries, a formidable coalition of 4 rogue males moves with calculated intent. Their presence is felt long before they are seen. Territorial males detect their scent on the wind, and the tension among resident prides rises. These nomads are the architects of upheaval, seeking to overthrow established hierarchies and secure breeding rights, their every step a challenge to the status quo. As dusk descends, the roars of these males reverberate across the plains, a complex language of dominance, warning, and intent. Each vocalization carries information, the strength of the coalition, their proximity, and their willingness to fight. The entire ecosystem responds, from antelope freezing mid-graze to hyenas recalibrating their own movements in the darkness. In Ruaha, power is never absolute. Prides converge at the margins of their territories, where a single miscalculation can ignite a ferocious battle. These confrontations are brutal and swift, claws and teeth flashing, dust swirling, and the outcome often determining the fate of cubs and the future of bloodlines. Even after the dust settles, the scars of conflict linger in the landscape and in the memories of survivors. The balance of power can shift in a single night. Under the watchful gaze of the moon, alliances are forged and broken, territories are won and lost, and destinies are rewritten in silence and shadow. Every movement, every sound, is a thread in the intricate tapestry of Ruaha's lion dynasties, where survival is earned, never given. The Glade is more than just a waterhole. It's the lifeblood of this untamed wilderness, a rare sanctuary where the drama of survival unfolds with every sunrise. As the first rays of sunlight spill across the savannah, the waterhole shimmers like a precious gem, its surface reflecting the awakening world. Herds of zebra and wildebeest emerge from the shadows, their movements synchronized by instinct and necessity, hooves stirring up clouds of ochre dust that linger in the golden air. The land, parched and cracked from months without rain, seems to hold its breath as life converges on this vital oasis. In a world ruled by drought and dust, the waterhole is a shimmering promise, a beacon of hope in a landscape where survival is never guaranteed. The cracked earth radiates heat, but here a ribbon of green encircles the oasis, a stark contrast to the barren wilderness beyond. The air is thick with anticipation as animals converge, each drawn by the promise of life-giving water. Giraffes, with their towering silhouettes, bend gracefully to drink, their reflections merging with those of antelope and warthog, all united by thirst. Beneath the surface, hidden springs feed this oasis, their ancient waters rising to sustain life when all else withers. The gentle gurgle of fresh water is a rare melody in the silence of the drought, and every creature listens for its promise. Dragonflies dart and hover, their iridescent wings catching the light, while frogs croak from the shelter of reeds, their calls a subtle reminder of the interconnected web that binds this ecosystem together. Elephants, the architects of the Glade, arrive with deliberate purpose. Using their powerful trunks, they dig deep into the sand, unearthing hidden reserves of water that would otherwise remain out of reach. This ancient skill is passed down through generations as matriarchs patiently teach their calves the art of survival. The herd moves as one, guided by the wisdom of its elders, each member learning to read the subtle signs of the land, cracks in the earth, the scent of moisture, the promise of life beneath the surface. Even the Glade pride, apex predators of this realm, have adapted to the challenges of drought. In a remarkable display of ingenuity, lions have learned to dig for water, their powerful paws scraping at the earth in search of hidden moisture. Lionesses watch as their cubs mimic these actions, learning by example that survival demands both strength and adaptability. The pride's unity is evident as adults and young work together, their golden coats dusted with earth, their eyes reflecting the fierce determination that defines life here. At the water's edge, ancient rivalries are momentarily set aside. Lion cubs and elephant calves drink side by side, their proximity a fragile truce born of necessity. Warthogs root in the mud, impalas step delicately between larger bodies, and each animal finds its place in the shifting mosaic of life. The air is alive with the sounds of splashing, snorting, and the low rumble of elephants, a chorus of survival that echoes across the glade. Yet peace is always precarious. Predators and prey gather in uneasy proximity, each animal alert, every sense heightened by the ever-present threat. Antelope drink with one eye on the lions, while baboons groom each other on the periphery, their vigilance never wavering. The delicate balance between hunger and caution plays out in real time, a silent negotiation that determines who drinks and who flees. As dusk falls, the atmosphere shifts. Shadows lengthen and predators become bolder. A lion lurks at the edge of the waterhole, its form barely visible in the fading light, while antelopes scan the darkness for any sign of danger. Beneath the surface, crocodile eyes break the water, patient and nearly invisible, waiting for the careless or the desperate. The oasis is a stage for both life and death. Zebra herds drink in tight formation, ever wary of what lurks beyond the reeds. Vultures perch nearby, their patience a grim reminder that not all will leave the waterhole unscathed. Jackals slink through the grass, eyes fixed on the commotion, ready to seize any opportunity that arises from chaos or misfortune. Under the relentless African sun, the rules of predator and prey are tested with every encounter. Lions stalk the margins, their movements calculated and silent, while gazelles weigh every step, torn between thirst and the instinct to flee. Dust devils swirl across the plain, momentarily obscuring the view and adding to the tension that hangs over the glade. As the dry season tightens its grip, competition intensifies. Herds jostle for space at the shrinking waterhole, each animal desperate for a share of the dwindling resource. Buffalo clash in brief, thunderous contests, dust rising as they push for dominance, while smaller creatures dart in and out, seizing moments of opportunity between the giants. The glade's harmony is as delicate as the season is harsh, a fleeting balance where life persists against all odds and every creature plays its part in the ongoing story of survival. For a moment the sanctuary breathes with hope, a testament to the resilience and interconnectedness of all who call this wild place home. When a rare rain falls, a rainbow arcs over the waterhole, and for a brief instant the animals pause, united in a silent celebration of life's persistence in the face of adversity. As the first rays of sunlight pierce the horizon, the Ruaha Savannah awakens in a shimmering haze of gold and silver. The Baobab pride, lean from days of sparse hunting, glides through the dew-soaked grass, each paw step muffled by the thick carpet of green. Their bellies rumble with hunger, and their amber eyes are locked on a solitary male giraffe, a towering figure, his mottled coat catching the dawn light, his breath visible in the cool air. He stands apart from the herd, his posture betraying fatigue, perhaps from a recent skirmish or a night spent fending off predators. The lions sense his vulnerability, their instincts honed by countless hunts. Giraffes are not easy prey. Their sheer size and bone-crushing kicks can maim or kill. Yet the pride's desperation outweighs their caution, and a silent pact forms among them. Today, they will risk everything. With a flick of the tail, the lead lioness signals the attack. The pride splits seamlessly, lionesses melting into the grass, their tawny coats blending with the sunlit blades. The dominant male, his mane bristling, arcs wide to intercept any escape. The giraffe's ears twitch. He senses the shift in the wind, the subtle rustle of bodies moving with predatory intent. Suddenly he bolts, his long legs slicing through the grass in powerful sweeping strides. The ground trembles beneath his weight, sending a flock of guinea fowls scattering in alarm. The lions surge forward, muscles rippling, their movements a study in coordination and raw power. Dust billows in their wake, and the chase becomes a blur of motion. Predator and prey, locked in a primal contest. The pursuit drives the Baobab pride beyond their familiar hunting grounds, into the Glade, a mosaic of sun-dappled clearings and tangled thickets, where the air is thick with the scent of rival lions. Every step is fraught with uncertainty. The ground here is pocked with old warthog burrows and shaded by ancient acacias. The giraffe, desperate and alert, weaves between the trees, his hooves snapping brittle branches, his head swinging high to scan for danger. The lions, undeterred, press on, their senses sharpened by the unfamiliar terrain. The glade is not their domain, and every shadow could conceal a threat. Yet hunger propels them forward, their focus unwavering. Unbeknownst to the Baobab pride, the Glade pride is already on the move. Their bodies hug the earth, muscles coiled beneath sleek fur, as they stalk a herd of impala nearby. But the sudden commotion draws their attention. The pounding hooves, the urgent snorts of the giraffe, the scent of unfamiliar lions carried on the shifting breeze. Instinctively the Glade pride abandons their quarry, melting into the grass, their golden eyes tracking the unfolding drama. They know every hollow and rise in this land, every hidden path and patch of cover. With silent precision, they reposition, anticipating the giraffe's desperate flight. In a heartbeat, the Baobab pride's relentless chase collides with the Glade pride's calculated ambush. Lions explode from the grass, manes bristling, eyes wide with surprise and challenge. The giraffe, caught between two deadly forces, skids to a halt, his nostrils flaring as he scans the chaos. The air vibrates with tension, every muscle, every sinew, every heartbeat, tuned to the razor's edge of survival. Now, two prides stand face to face, their bodies rigid with anticipation. The Baobab lions, outnumbered but driven by hunger, glare at the Glade pride, whose confidence is rooted in their knowledge of the land. The giraffe, trembling, stands at the epicenter of this standoff, his heart hammering, his every instinct screaming for flight. The lion's eyes flick from rival to prey, calculating, weighing risk against reward. Encircled by predators, the giraffe pivots, searching for any gap in the tightening ring of lions. His ears swivel, catching the faintest sounds, the hiss of grass, the low growl of a lioness, the frantic flutter of birds fleeing the scene. Muscles bunch beneath his hide, readying for a final desperate dash. The lions, sensing the critical moment, close ranks, each pride jockeying for the best position, neither willing to cede ground. The Baobab pride's unity is tested against the Glade pride's territorial ferocity. Tails lash, ears flatten, and low growls rumble through the grass as both groups maneuver for dominance. Dust swirls around their shifting bodies, the air thick with the scent of adrenaline and fear. The outcome hangs in the balance, every movement scrutinized, every advantage contested. Suddenly, the standoff erupts into chaos. Lions lunge and feint, their roars echoing across the glade as they test each other's resolve. The giraffe, seizing his chance, lashes out with a thunderous kick, hooves slicing the air with lethal force. Lions leap aside, narrowly avoiding injury, their tactics shifting from aggression to caution. The contest is no longer just about the hunt. It is a battle for supremacy, for the right to rule this patch of wild earth. As the sun dips toward the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and violet, the energy of the confrontation begins to wane. The lions, sides heaving, tongues lolling, circle warily, each pride reassessing its chances. The giraffe, battered but alive, edges toward the safety of the acacias, his silhouette stretching long in the fading light. The savannah, momentarily stilled, holds its breath as the balance of power teeters on a knife's edge. In Ruaha, every hunt is a crucible, a test of strength, strategy, and endurance. The risks are immense. A single misstep can mean injury or death, not just for the hunted, but for the hunters as well. Tonight, the savannah will remember the clash of prides, the thunder of hooves, the desperate gambit of a lone giraffe. These moments shape the destinies of all who roam here, etching new stories into the ancient tapestry of the wild. As darkness falls, the savannah becomes a stage for whispers and echoes. Both prides, battered but unbroken, gather their strength for what may come next. The night air vibrates with distant roars, a chorus of challenge and defiance, as the wild waits to see which pride will seize the future. By dawn, only one pride will stand victorious, their roars echoing across the plains as they feast on hard-won prey. The fallen giraffe becomes both sustenance and symbol, a testament to the relentless struggle for survival, witnessed by every creature that calls the Ruaha home. The tranquility of the savannah is shattered as two formidable prides converge upon their quarry. With a coordinated burst of predatory precision, sinewy bodies launch forward, claws extended and fangs bared, enveloping the towering giraffe in a maelstrom of dust and primal energy. The cacophony of roars, bellows, and the desperate thrashing of prey reverberates across the open plains, a testament to the raw power and strategy that define apex predators in their element. The Glade pride, asserting their dominance, immediately commandeers the carcass. The most powerful lions, mature males and high-ranking females, shoulder their way to the forefront, their muscular forms creating an impenetrable barrier around the fallen giraffe. Each movement is deliberate, tails flicking in agitation and ears pressed flat, a silent but unmistakable warning to subordinates and outsiders alike. The social hierarchy is on full display, as only those with status dare to claim the choicest organs and muscle. Hovering at the periphery, the Baobab pride watches with a mixture of longing and restraint. Submissive individuals, often juveniles and lower-ranking adults, crouch low in the tall grass, their bodies taut with anticipation and anxiety. Instinct compels them to wait for an opening, their golden eyes fixed on the feast, every muscle primed for a fleeting opportunity to snatch a morsel. The tension between hunger and self-preservation is palpable, as even a minor miscalculation could provoke a violent rebuke from the dominant pride. Each bite is hard-won, deep guttural growls and sharp staccato snarls punctuate the air, as lions jostle and snap at one another, enforcing the invisible boundaries of rank and kinship. The flash of ivory canines and the ripple of tension through the pride serve as constant reminders that, even in abundance, competition is fierce. The risk of injury is ever present, and every lion is acutely aware that a single misstep could escalate into a full-blown conflict. For a brief interlude, the abundance of flesh tempers aggression. The pride's bellies swell as they gorge, and the savannah falls into a tense hush, broken only by the visceral sounds of tearing hide and the crunch of bone. Yet beneath this veneer of peace the truce is tenuous, an alliance forged by necessity, not trust. Each lion remains vigilant, their senses attuned to the slightest shift in posture or intent among their companions. The spectacle of the kill does not go unnoticed. From the dappled shade of distant acacias, the nomadic Nja pride materializes, their lean frames betraying days of hunger. Drawn by the irresistible scent of fresh blood, they approach with a mixture of caution and boldness, their amber eyes reflecting both desperation and calculated ambition. The arrival of these outsiders adds a volatile new element to the already fraught scene. In an instant, the fragile equilibrium collapses. The Inja lions surge forward, singling out a vulnerable young Baobab lioness at the edge of the carcass. The air erupts with a frenzy of snarls, flying dust, and the thunder of bodies colliding. The violence is swift and brutal, a stark reminder of the ever-present dangers that even the most experienced lions face at a contested kill. In a remarkable display of instinctive solidarity, the Glade lionesses, momentarily setting aside rivalry, charged to the defense of the besieged Baobab lioness. Their powerful bodies drive the attackers back, their unified roars echoing across the plain. For a fleeting heartbeat, the boundaries between prides blur, and former adversaries stand shoulder to shoulder against a common threat. The aftermath is a tableau of wary stares and taut muscles. Lions from all three prides stand in a tense standoff, each animal weighing the risks and rewards of further aggression. The intricate social dynamics of lion society are laid bare. Alliances shift, rivalries simmer, and every interaction is a negotiation for survival and status. Gradually the violence subsides. The battered prides, sides heaving and fur dusted with earth, settle into an uneasy coexistence around the carcass. Each group claims a portion of the giraffe, carving out territory with subtle postures and measured glances. The feast resumes, but every movement is scrutinized, every bite a calculated risk. At the heart of this drama lies the giraffe's lifeless form, a symbol of both bounty and conflict. The carcass becomes a focal point for shifting alliances and simmering hostilities, its presence a silent witness to the complex interplay of cooperation and competition that governs lion life in the wild. In the unforgiving ecosystem of Ruaha, survival often demands compromise. Even the most bitter rivals are compelled to share, their enmity tempered by the relentless demands of hunger and the scarcity of opportunity. This uneasy cooperation is a testament to the adaptability and intelligence of Panthera leo, whose social structures are as dynamic as the landscape they inhabit. As the sun sinks toward the horizon, painting the savannah in hues of amber and crimson, the lions begin to disperse. The temporary truce dissolves with the fading light, leaving behind only scattered paw prints, the stripped remains of the giraffe, and the lingering memory of a fragile peace, one that will be tested again with the next hunt, the next hunger, and the next encounter on these ancient plains. As the final lion melts into the shimmering grass, a hush falls over the savannah. The landscape, momentarily still, is charged with anticipation. In this fleeting pause, the true complexity of the ecosystem is revealed. Shadows lengthen, and from the periphery, the next chapter of the drama unfolds. The cleanup crew, nature's tireless recyclers, begin to emerge, drawn by the promise of sustenance left in the wake of the hunt. Hyenas are the first to break cover, their senses finely tuned to the scent of opportunity. Led by a formidable matriarch, the clan approaches with a mix of caution and confidence, their bodies low and movements deliberate. They vocalize in a chorus of whoops and cackles, a language that signals both excitement and hierarchy. With jaws capable of splintering bone, they set upon the carcass, tearing through hide and muscle with astonishing efficiency. Even the toughest sinew yields to their relentless assault as they consume what the lions could not. Lurking at the margins, black-backed jackals watch the hyenas with sharp, calculating eyes. These nimble opportunists bide their time, weaving through the grass in near silence. When the hyenas are momentarily distracted, the jackals dart forward, snatching scraps with practiced agility. Their slender jaws make quick work of tendons and small bones, extracting nourishment from what remains. Every movement is a delicate balance between hunger and caution, as a misstep could provoke the wrath of the dominant scavengers. Above, the sky stirs with the arrival of vultures. Spiraling on thermals, they descend in ever-tightening circles, their keen eyesight having spotted the feast from miles away. The lappet-faced vulture, largest and most powerful, lands first, its hooked beak expertly slicing through the toughest hide. White-backed and hooded vultures follow, slipping deftly between the larger birds and hyenas to reach softer morsels. Their bald heads and strong beaks are perfectly adapted for this grisly banquet, and soon the air is filled with the sound of wings, hisses, and the tearing of flesh. By the time dawn breaks, the transformation is remarkable. The once mighty carcass is reduced to a scatter of bones and tattered hide, remnants strewn across the trampled earth. The grass is pressed flat by the passage of countless feet, and the air is thick with the pungent aroma of decay. The night's activity has left its mark, a testament to the relentless efficiency of the scavengers. As the larger scavengers move on, the smallest denizens of the savannah take their turn. Mongoose and jennets, ever curious, pick at the last shreds of tissue. Birds such as marabou storks and hornbills probe the bones for hidden morsels. Insects swarm in, beetles and ants working tirelessly to break down the final fragments. Flies lay their eggs and larvae begin the process of decomposition, ensuring that nothing is wasted. The relentless African sun hastens the bleaching of bones, signaling the final stage of the cycle. Later, a herd of elephants approaches the scene with a quiet reverence. Using their trunks, they gently explore the scattered bones, sometimes lifting and turning them with surprising delicacy. This behavior, observed across generations, hints at a deep awareness of mortality and the interconnectedness of all life on the savannah. The elephants linger, their presence a silent tribute to the fallen creature and the cycle it has sustained. As the sun climbs higher, the ground is etched with a tapestry of tracks, evidence of the night's visitors. Each print tells a story, the bold stride of a hyena, the delicate imprint of a jackal, the talon marks of vultures. The remains of the giraffe have nourished a multitude, each species playing its part in the intricate web of life that defines this wild landscape. In Ruaha, nothing is wasted. Every scrap of flesh, every fragment of bone is claimed by a succession of creatures, each uniquely adapted to their role. The energy of one life is transformed, sustaining countless others and reinforcing the seamless interdependence that underpins the ecosystem. As the bones gradually break down, their nutrients seep into the earth. Soon, new shoots of grass will emerge, nourished by the remains of the fallen giant. This renewal is the savannah's promise, life arising from death, the eternal cycle that sustains all who call this place home. Here, the wild is both unforgiving and exquisitely balanced. Every creature, from the mightiest predator to the tiniest insect, fulfills a purpose in the grand tapestry of the savannah. This is nature's design, efficient, interconnected, and endlessly renewing. In the wild, rolling heart of Ruaha, where the land breathes with ancient secrets and the air is thick with the scent of dust and grass, 4 rogue kings emerge from the shadows. These lions, exiled from their birth pride and forged by hardship, are bound by a brotherhood deeper than blood. Their movements are a silent symphony, each step measured, each glance a wordless signal. Their golden coats ripple through the tall grass, vanishing and reappearing like ghosts, as they stalk the most formidable prize the savannah can offer, a massive Cape buffalo, known among the herd as the buffalo soldier, a survivor of countless battles, his hide a tapestry of scars. The savannah holds its breath as the lions begin their assault. With a sudden burst, they explode from the grass, sending the buffalo herd into a frenzy. Hooves thunder, dust billows, and the air is filled with the wild chorus of alarm calls and pounding hearts. In the chaos, the lion's strategy unfolds with ruthless precision. They target the old bull, his horns wide and worn, his eyes burning with the memory of every predator he's faced. He is separated from the herd, but his spirit remains unbroken, a sentinel standing alone against the storm. The confrontation erupts in a violent ballet of muscle and instinct. The lions leap, claws unsheathing, jaws snapping for a hold on the thick armored hide. The buffalo soldier meets them with a force born of survival, his massive frame a living fortress, his horns swinging with lethal intent. The ground trembles beneath their struggle, each movement sending shockwaves through the earth, each roar and bellow a testament to the raw, ancient rivalry between predator and prey. With every charge, the buffalo soldier drives the lions back, his horns slicing the air with the precision of a seasoned warrior. Blood and dust mingle, painting the battlefield in the colors of survival. The lions, undeterred, circle and feint, searching for weakness. But the old bull's resolve is ironclad. His nostrils flare, his breath comes in ragged bursts, yet he stands his ground, a living monument to the will to endure. Again and again the lions surge forward, their muscles straining, their claws raking across the buffalo's hide. But the buffalo soldier refuses to yield. His body bears fresh wounds, blood streaking his flanks, yet his eyes burn with defiance. The lions, their sides heaving, frustration etched in every snarl, are forced to reckon with the unbreakable spirit of their quarry. The savannah itself seems to pause, the outcome uncertain, the balance of power teetering on a knife's edge. At last, battered and bleeding, the buffalo soldier finds an opening. With a final, desperate surge, he breaks free from the circle of teeth and claws. Each step is agony, but he presses on, limping through the golden grass, leaving a trail of blood and legend behind him. The lions, spent and humbled, watch in silence as their prize disappears into the lengthening shadows. Overhead, vultures begin to circle, drawn by the scent of battle, but the old bull is not yet ready to surrender to the wild. The rogue kings collapse into the grass, their bodies marked by the struggle, their pride wounded by defeat. They lick their wounds in silence, eyes heavy with exhaustion and the knowledge that even the mightiest hunters are subject to the wild's relentless law. The savannah, momentarily stilled by violence, slowly exhales, the wind carrying away the echoes of the battle. In Ruaha, nothing is certain. Every hunt is a wager against fate, every victory a fleeting triumph, every defeat a lesson carved into the dust and blood of the land. The wilderness is a living force, unpredictable and unforgiving, shaping every creature that calls it home. Here, the wilderness is never passive. Every animal, from the smallest bird to the largest buffalo, is both hunter and hunted. Herds gather for strength, predators lurk in the margins, and the eternal dance of survival plays out beneath the endless sky. Each day is a test, each night a gauntlet, and only the resilient endure. Scars are the currency of survival here, etched into thick hides and fierce eyes, each one a story of struggle and endurance. They are badges of honor, proof that life in Ruaha is earned, never given. The buffalo soldier stands as a living legend, resilient, unyielding, a symbol of the wild's enduring heart. His silhouette against the setting sun is a reminder that true strength is measured not by victory, but by the courage to face the impossible and survive. In this land of giants and kings, the balance of power is never fixed. It shifts with every heartbeat, every struggle, every sunset. Here, the story of survival is written in the dust, the blood, and the endless golden light of Ruaha, where legends are born and the wild endures. As the first golden rays of dawn spill across the glade, a deep, resonant roar shatters the silence. The sound rolls over the dew-laden grass, stirring birds from their perches and sending antelope glancing nervously toward the horizon. Emerging from the ethereal mist, a solitary male lion steps forward, his mane ablaze with the morning light. Each stride is measured, his presence unmistakable, a living embodiment of power and resilience, shaped by the trials of the wild. The lionesses, vigilant and composed, raise their heads in perfect synchrony. Recognition flickers in their eyes, and a subtle tension ripples through the pride. The cubs, sensing the charged atmosphere, huddle close to their mothers, their small bodies quivering with a blend of curiosity and apprehension. Instinctively, the pride braces for what this moment might bring. The returning male advances with a quiet, unwavering confidence. Muscles ripple beneath his tawny coat, each movement betraying the strength and experience earned through countless trials. No longer a mere wanderer, his scent and his thunderous roar declare his claim, a rightful guardian returning to the heart of his lineage. The pride instinctively forms a protective barrier around the cubs, their bodies tense and eyes fixed on the approaching figure. Every gesture is deliberate, every glance weighted with meaning. The fate of the youngest hangs in the balance, their future shaped by the acceptance or rejection of this formidable male. With measured grace, the lionesses encourage their young to approach. The cubs, emboldened by the steady presence of their mothers, inch forward, their noses twitching as they absorb the familiar scent of the returning patriarch. The air is thick with anticipation, hope and uncertainty mingling in the cool morning breeze. The reunion unfolds with a delicate tension. The male lowers his massive head, inhaling the scent of his offspring, his breath stirring the grass. The cubs, cautious, yet drawn by instinct, respond with tentative mews, brushing against his mane. Gradually the anxiety ebbs, replaced by a tentative trust, a fragile peace forged in the early light. With the patriarch's return, the pride's posture shifts. The male stands sentinel among them, his presence a silent assurance of strength and vigilance. The lionesses, reassured by his watchful gaze, allow themselves a rare moment of respite, their muscles relaxing as the immediate threat recedes. With the pride's unity restored, the lionesses resume their ancient role as hunters. They move through the tall grass with renewed determination, their senses attuned to every rustle and shadow. The cubs, liberated from fear, tumble and play, their world momentarily transformed into a sanctuary of safety and discovery. As the sun climbs higher, the pride gathers in a close embrace. Nuzzling and grooming reinforce the bonds that hold them together, each gentle touch a reaffirmation of loyalty and kinship. The cubs nestle between the adults, soothed by the rhythmic purrs and the warmth of their family. Together, the pride surveys their reclaimed territory. The oasis glimmers in the morning light, a vital refuge in the vast savannah. Their unity is their strength, a bulwark against the ever-present challenges of the wild. For a fleeting moment, tranquility settles over the glade. The pride breathes in unison, surrounded by the gentle chorus of awakening birds and the soft rustle of the savannah grass. This peace, though fragile, is a testament to their resilience. In Ruaha, every dawn brings a new chapter, a promise of survival, of hope, and of the enduring spirit of the pride. As the sun rises, so too does the resolve of those who call this wild expanse home. Under the unyielding glare of the African sun, the dry season deepens, transforming the savannah into a realm of dust and endurance. The earth cracks, grasses wither, and the air shimmers with heat, yet within the glade, a fragile equilibrium persists. Here, every creature is shaped by the demands of survival, and every adaptation is a testament to nature's ingenuity. The return of the pride's patriarch is more than a reunion. It is a pivotal moment for the pride's future. His presence brings renewed order, reinforcing the social bonds that hold the pride together. The cubs, emboldened by his protection, venture closer to the water's edge, while lionesses remain vigilant, ever alert to the subtle shifts in the wind that might signal danger. With bellies swollen from a successful hunt, the Baobab and Jar prides retreat into the sparse shade. Their bodies sprawl across the cool earth, muscles relaxing as they groom one another, reinforcing the intricate social ties that are vital for their survival. The midday lull is a brief respite, a necessary pause before the next challenge emerges from the shimmering horizon. Beyond the safety of the pride, solitary males prowl the periphery. These nomads, driven by hunger and ambition, move silently through the tall grass, their senses finely tuned to every sound and scent. Each step is a calculated risk as they search for opportunity, whether it be a vulnerable calf, a moment of weakness in a rival, or the faintest scent of a receptive female. The glade itself is a crucible of life, a rare oasis where the boundaries between predator and prey blur in the pursuit of water. Herds of antelope, wary yet desperate, edge closer to the waterhole, their movements watched by hidden eyes. The air is thick with tension, every heartbeat echoing the ancient struggle for survival. Elephants, the architects of the savannah, use their tusks and trunks to dig deep into the parched riverbed, unearthing precious water that sustains not only their own herds but countless other species. Lions linger nearby, their presence a constant reminder of the delicate balance between competition and coexistence. In these moments, a silent truce prevails, each species adapting, each action rippling through the ecosystem. The hunt is a spectacle of precision and patience. Lions stalk through the brittle grass, muscles coiled, eyes fixed on their quarry. When the moment comes, the chase is swift and brutal, success measured in seconds. The kill is not just a victory for the pride, but a lifeline for the scavengers waiting in the wings, each meal a hard-fought reward in a land where nothing comes easily. As the lions finish their feast, the scavengers move in. Vultures descend in swirling spirals, their sharp eyes spotting the remains from miles away. Hyenas, ever opportunistic, dart forward, their powerful jaws cracking bones that others leave behind. In this relentless cycle, every scrap is consumed, every trace of the hunt returned to the earth. As the sun dips below the horizon, the glade is transformed. The harsh light softens, and the air cools. Elephants, giraffes, and lions gather at the water's edge, their silhouettes merging in the golden dusk. For a fleeting moment, the boundaries between hunter and hunted dissolve, united by the elemental need for water. In this ancient sanctuary, every creature, predator and prey, rival and companion, finds its place within the eternal rhythm of the wild. The oasis sustains them all, binding their fates together in a cycle as old as the land itself, where survival is both a struggle and a triumph, endlessly renewed with each passing day. As the last embers of daylight fade, the glade is transformed. Darkness unfurls across the savannah, weaving a tapestry of shadows and silver light. The world that thrived beneath the sun now yields to the realm of the night, where every sound is amplified and every movement is cloaked in secrecy. The relentless heat of the day dissipates, replaced by a cool, restless breeze that stirs the tall grasses. Overhead, the moon ascends, full and luminous, casting a pale glow that dances across the silent plains, illuminating the wilderness in a ghostly sheen. Nestled deep within a tangled thicket, a secluded waterhole shimmers beneath the starlit sky. Its surface mirrors the constellations above, a rare oasis in the parched heart of Ruaha, drawing life from miles around. As the night matures, the waterhole becomes a stage for Africa's most elusive creatures. Stealthy antelope, wary zebras, and secretive genets slip through the undergrowth, each drawn by the promise of water and the peril that lingers in the darkness. Emerging from the gloom, a small pride of lions advances with deliberate caution. Their golden eyes catch the moonlight, glowing like embers in the night, betraying neither fear nor haste. Every step is measured, their bodies low and sinewy, muscles rippling beneath tawny coats. The pride's matriarch leads, her senses finely tuned to the faintest rustle or scent, guiding her kin toward the water's edge. In the periphery, a clan of hyenas assembles, their numbers swelling in the gloom. Their mottled pelts blend seamlessly with the shifting shadows, and their eyes glint with cunning anticipation. The air is thick with tension, alive with the guttural calls of hyenas echoing across the clearing, answered by the low, warning growls of lionesses. Each sound is a message, challenge, defiance, and the unspoken rules of the night. At the water's edge, the atmosphere is electric. Every creature senses the fragile balance between thirst and danger. The lions are first to drink, their bodies tense, every muscle primed for action. Their tongues lap at the cool water, but their eyes never stray far from the shadows beyond. The hyenas prowl just beyond the reach of the pride, circling with restless energy. Their nostrils flare, catching the scent of lion and prey alike, while their gaze remains fixed on the pride's every move. In this arid season, the Waterhole is more than a resource. It is a battleground. Every animal present is acutely aware that survival hinges on access to this precious lifeline, and neither predator nor scavenger is willing to concede ground. Suddenly, a young lioness halts mid-drink, her ears pricked and swiveling toward a faint disturbance in the brush. Instinct and experience merge in a single, fluid motion. The hyenas seize the opportunity, surging forward in a cacophony of cackles and yips. Their confidence is buoyed by sheer numbers, and their movements are bold, almost reckless. The lions respond instantly, erupting in a chorus of snarls. Their hackles rise, tails lash, and their bodies form a defensive wall, united against the encroaching threat. For a heartbeat, time seems to freeze. The two factions face each other in a tableau of ancient rivalry, predator and scavenger, muscle and wit, each testing the other's resolve beneath the indifferent gaze of the stars. The hyenas probe the pride's defenses, darting in and out, snapping at the fringes, their tactics honed by generations of nocturnal conflict. The lions stand firm, baring their formidable teeth, their authority challenged but unbroken. Their unity and strength are their shield, forged by years of survival in this unforgiving land. Dust swirls in the cool night air, disturbed by the restless feet of predator and scavenger alike. The water's surface trembles, reflecting the tension that crackles through the clearing. Gradually, the confrontation loses its edge. Neither side is willing to risk the injuries that could spell doom in the wild. The standoff dissolves, replaced by a wary truce. With regal composure, the lions retreat into the darkness, their dignity intact, though their thirst remains only partly satisfied. Their silhouettes melt into the night, ever watchful, ever proud. The hyenas, emboldened by the lions' withdrawal, surge forward. They drink greedily, their laughter echoing across the Waterhole, a sound both triumphant and haunting, a testament to their persistence. Above, the stars burn with cold brilliance, silent witnesses to the perpetual contest for survival that plays out beneath their gaze. As the night deepens, tranquility slowly returns. The Waterhole, once a theatre of conflict, becomes a sanctuary once more, bathed in the gentle glow of the moon and stars. The nocturnal chorus resumes, crickets, frogs, distant calls of unseen creatures, each voice a thread in the intricate fabric of the wild. Here, in the heart of the African night, the cycle of survival endures, shaped by instinct, shadow, and the relentless pursuit of life. As the last echoes of conflict fade from the Waterhole, the glade is reclaimed by silence. Under the pale wash of the moon, a shadow glides between the trees, unseen, unheard, and almost spectral. The air is thick with anticipation, every leaf and blade of grass holding its breath for what comes next. The leopard, a solitary phantom, moves beneath the ancient fever trees. Its rosette-marked coat is a masterpiece of camouflage, breaking up its outline in the shifting tapestry of moonlight and shadow. Each step is measured, each muscle coiled with latent power as it glides through the undergrowth with a grace that betrays no sound. Where lions announce their presence with thunderous roars and hyenas fill the night with manic laughter, the leopard is a whisper, an enigma at the heart of Ruaha. Its existence is defined by secrecy, its movements dictated by the need to remain invisible in a world of rivals and opportunists. The terrain here is a mosaic of dense thickets, open sandbanks, and the winding scars of dry riverbeds. Scattered boulders and tangled roots create a labyrinthine world, offering both sanctuary and ambush points for the creatures that call this wilderness home. This is a realm sculpted for stealth and surprise. Every branch, every shadow, is a potential hiding place. The dense vegetation muffles sound, allowing the leopard to move with near-supernatural silence, its presence betrayed only by the faintest rustle or the glint of golden eyes. The leopard's senses are honed to perfection. Its golden eyes, adapted for low light, scan the darkness with uncanny precision, detecting the subtlest movements. Ears flick and pivot, capturing the faintest tremor, a rodent scurry beneath the leaf litter, the distant flutter of wings, or the soft footfall of a potential meal. A hare darts through the grass, its heart pounding in the stillness, every sense alert to the ever-present threat of predation. Farther off, a bushbuck freezes, ears pricked, nostrils flaring as it catches a hint of danger on the wind. Its alarm is a soft, breathless bark, a warning to all within earshot that the night's most elusive hunter is near. Unlike the great prides of lions, the leopard is a solitary hunter. It relies not on brute force or the chaos of numbers, but on patience, precision, and an intimate knowledge of its territory. Every hunt is a solitary endeavor, a test of skill and restraint. The leopard lowers itself to the earth, barely brushing the cool grass. Each paw is placed with meticulous care, avoiding dry twigs and brittle leaves. Its whiskers quiver, testing the air for the scent of prey, while its tail flicks in silent anticipation. At the edge of a moonlit clearing, a lone impala grazes, oblivious to the danger that creeps ever closer. The impala's ears swivel, but the leopard's approach is a masterclass in invisibility. The leopard halts, melting into the twisted roots and fallen logs. Its body becomes a shadow among shadows, every muscle tensed for the perfect moment. It waits, motionless, as minutes stretch into eternity. The world narrows to a single point of focus. The impala's next step, the shift of a breeze, the alignment of opportunity and instinct. Suddenly, the silence shatters. With an explosive burst of speed, the leopard launches itself from cover, closing the distance in a blur of muscle and intent. The impala bolts, but the leopard's jaws clamp down with lethal precision. The struggle is brief, a testament to the predator's efficiency. The kill is swift, almost surgical. There is no wasted motion, no unnecessary violence, only the cold, clinical execution of survival. Yet in this land of perpetual competition, triumph is fleeting. The leopard's senses remain on high alert, every shadow a potential threat. Wasting no time, the leopard drags its prize to the base of a sausage tree. With astonishing strength, it hauls the carcass up into the branches, seeking refuge from scavengers below. In the glade, the night is alive with unseen eyes and restless hunger. Danger is ever present, woven into the fabric of the wilderness. Hyenas, drawn by the scent of fresh blood, gather beneath the tree. Their eyes glow in the darkness, and their laughter is edged with anticipation, hoping for a misstep or a dropped meal. Even a solitary lioness patrolling her territory pauses in the shadows. Her gaze is cold, calculating, weighing the risks and rewards of challenging the leopard's claim. Perched high above, the leopard's muscles remain taut, its tail flicking with a mixture of pride and anxiety. Solitude is both shield and vulnerability, safety from rivals, but isolation in the face of adversity. From its lofty vantage, the leopard surveys the glade below. Every movement, every sound is catalogued and assessed. This is its domain, a kingdom ruled by stealth and cunning. Below, the glade pulses with nocturnal life. Bush babies leap acrobatically between branches, their eyes shining like tiny lanterns in the dark. Genets, nimble and elusive, slink through the undergrowth, their movements as secretive as the leopard's own. Overhead, an owl glides on silent wings, its passage barely disturbing the air as it hunts for rodents in the grass below. The leopard's world is a vertical labyrinth, layered with secrets. The crooks of trees and the hollows of ancient logs conceal stories of survival, each one written in claw marks and the scent trails of passing animals. As the first blush of dawn touches the horizon, the leopard descends from its perch. With the same ghostly silence, it melts into the receding shadows, leaving no trace but the faint imprint of paws in the dew. The glade is quiet once more, bathed in the gentle light of sunrise. Yet the sense of mystery lingers, a silent testament to the dramas that unfold beneath the cover of darkness, unseen by all but the most vigilant eyes. Here, in the shifting interplay of gold and shadow, survival is an art form. The leopard, ever elusive, remains the undisputed master, its story written not in noise or spectacle, but in the quiet mastery of the wild. As the first golden rays spill across the savannah, the hush of dawn is broken by a subtle, ancient rhythm, a deep, resonant tremor that stirs the very soil. In the gentle glow, the silhouettes of giants emerge, their forms shifting against the horizon like living monuments to time itself. The earth quivers beneath the deliberate march of elephants, a herd weaving its way through Ruaha's sun-baked wilderness. Each footfall presses a story into the dust, echoing the journeys of countless generations before them. At the helm, the matriarch leads with unwavering resolve, her memory a living archive of waterholes, safe passages, and perils long past. Flanked by daughters, sisters, and calves, she guides the herd in a seamless procession, each member attuned to the subtle cues of her leadership. Their journey is a tapestry of instinct and tradition, a pilgrimage shaped by the pulse of the seasons and the promise of distant rains. Bonds are reaffirmed with every gentle touch of trunks, every low rumble exchanged between kin. The herd's unity is its strength, a living chain that stretches from the oldest matriarch to the youngest calf. The matriarch halts, trunk lifted high, reading the invisible script of the wind. She samples the air for the scent of rain, the trace of a hidden spring, or the warning of predators lurking beyond sight. Around her, the younger females shepherd their calves, who tumble and play in the safety of the herd. Their antics are a fleeting respite from the rigors of migration, tiny trunks entwined, ears flared in mock displays of courage. On the periphery, the bulls move with solitary dignity, their massive forms casting long shadows across the grass. Drawn by the scent of the herd and the promise of future generations, they remain ever watchful, guardians at a respectful distance. The path ahead is fraught with obstacles, rocky outcrops, tangled thickets, and the ever-present threat of thirst. Each challenge is met with patience and resolve, the herd adapting as one to the shifting demands of the land. Parched riverbeds and thorny acacia forests force detours, testing the endurance of the youngest and oldest alike. The herd presses on, driven by the memory of water and the hope of renewal. Calves, their legs unsteady, sometimes falter in the dust. With gentle nudges and deep, resonant calls, mothers and aunts urge them forward, each rumble a note in the symphony of survival. From the tall grass, lions observe with calculating eyes, measuring the strength of the herd. Yet the formidable wall of tusks and the unwavering solidarity of the elephants deter even the boldest predator. When the herd reaches a river, crocodiles lurk beneath the surface, patient and silent. But the elephants cross in tight formation, trunks raised like sentinels, calves shielded at the heart of the group, an unbreakable phalanx against danger. Along the way, the elephants reshape the land, stripping bark, snapping branches, and opening up the forest canopy. Their passage is both a force of destruction and a catalyst for renewal. Trails widen into thoroughfares, waterholes are rediscovered and deepened, and the very architecture of the landscape is sculpted by their relentless movement. In their wake, new life flourishes. Antelope graze in freshly cleared glades, birds nest in the branches left behind, and seeds carried in dung take root, ensuring the cycle of growth continues. The landscape, once parched and silent, is reborn. Lush grass springs from the earth, and the air hums with the activity of countless creatures drawn to the bounty left by the giants. As the sun dips below the horizon, the herd gathers beneath ancient baobabs, their trunks entwined in gestures of comfort and reassurance. The day's trials fade into memory, replaced by the quiet strength of family. The matriarch's low rumble settles the calves who nestle close, encircled by the protective forms of their elders. Here, in the fading light, The future of the herd is cradled in gentle strength. Beneath a sky ablaze with stars, the giants rest at last. Their breath mingles with the night breeze, silent architects of Ruaha's wilderness. Each footprint a testament to resilience, each night a promise that the journey will begin anew with the coming dawn. As the last silhouettes of elephants dissolve into the deepening twilight, the glade undergoes a subtle transformation. The hush that follows the giant's departure is not emptiness, but a signal, an invitation for the smallest denizens to emerge and claim the night. In the cool air, the forest floor stirs with 1,000 tiny movements. Antennae quiver, carapaces glint, and the glade awakens to the relentless industry of its most overlooked inhabitants. Beneath tangled thickets, where shafts of moonlight dapple the leaf litter, a hidden world thrives. Every inch of soil is a stage for silent dramas, predation, courtship, and survival, each played out with astonishing precision. Here, a beetle's struggle with a rival is as fierce as any lion's duel. A cricket's leap, a spider's ambush, these are the glade's quiet battles, vital to the ecosystem's pulse. Each creature is a marvel of adaptation, armored, camouflaged, or swift, honed by countless generations to fit a precise ecological niche. As the first blush of dawn touches the horizon, slender mongoose families slip from their burrows, their emergence timed to the minute, early enough to avoid the heat, late enough to evade nocturnal hunters. Their bodies hug the earth, moving in fluid bursts between tufts of dew-soaked grass, every muscle tuned for stealth and speed. Eyes glinting, tails flicking with anticipation, they scan for the faintest tremor, a grasshopper's jump, a lizard's scuttle. With lightning reflexes, they seize insects and lizards, their jaws closing with surgical precision. The mongoose clan is a model of cooperation. Some forage, others stand sentry, their vigilance a living shield. Upright, they scan the horizon, reading the wind for the scent of raptors or snakes. Meanwhile, others dig with nimble paws, unearthing beetle larvae and grubs hidden beneath the roots. Overhead, a kestrel shadow glides across the grass. Instantly the mongoose freeze, every sense alert, their collective memory recalling generations of close escapes. Not far away, rock hyraxes gather on sun-warmed stone outcrops, their bodies pressed close for warmth as the morning chill lingers. Their eyelids droop, but their ears twitch at every sound. A distant eagle's cry, the rustle of a snake in the grass. Despite their vulnerable appearance, hyraxes are masters of evasion, their fur blending seamlessly with the lichen-streaked rocks. At the faintest hint of danger, they vanish into narrow crevices, their bodies contorting to fit spaces no predator can follow. Their voices, trills, squeaks, and alarm calls ripple through the colony, a sophisticated language that signals safety or peril. In the tangled undergrowth, elephant shrews dart from shadow to shadow, their movements a blur of nervous energy. Their elongated noses twitch, sampling the air for the scent of beetles or ants, each sniff a calculation of risk and reward. Every step is measured, every pause brief. A life lived on the knife edge between hunger and being hunted. They pause only to groom, their tiny claws combing through fur to remove parasites and debris. At the slightest disturbance, they vanish beneath fallen branches, invisible in an instant. For the elephant shrew, survival depends on memory, knowing every twist and hollow in the labyrinth of roots and rocks. Their minds map the terrain, recalling safe routes and hidden bolt holes with uncanny accuracy. Above the glade, the air vibrates with birdsong, each call a declaration of territory, a warning, or a hopeful invitation. Weaver birds, tireless architects, flit among the acacias, weaving grass blades into intricate nests that sway in the breeze. Each strand is chosen with care, tested for strength, and woven into a fortress that will cradle the next generation. Males compete with dazzling displays, their plumage ablaze in the morning sun, each feather a signal of health and vigor. They present their handiwork to discerning females whose choices will shape the next brood. On exposed twigs, bee-eaters line up, their posture alert, eyes scanning for the faintest flicker of wings. With a sudden burst, they launch into the air, twisting and turning to snatch insects in mid-flight. Their aerial acrobatics a marvel of precision. Their feathers shimmer, emerald, sapphire, gold, catching the light as they return to their perches. No movement escapes their gaze, a dragonfly's dart, a grasshopper's leap, even the stealthy glide of a snake below. The bee-eater's vigilance is constant, their survival dependent on split-second decisions. On the ground, the smallest engineers labour unseen. Dung beetles, tireless and methodical, roll their precious cargo across the earth, guided by the Milky Way on clear nights, their strength astonishing for their size. Their efforts sculpt the soil, aerate the ground, and recycle nutrients, sustaining the very grass that feeds the herds above. Nearby, termites build vast mounds, cathedrals of mud and saliva, their labyrinthine tunnels regulating temperature and humidity, sheltering millions in a fortress that supports aardvarks, monitor lizards, and countless others. Every hour, the glade pulses with intersecting lives, each species a thread in the tapestry of survival. From the fragile to the ferocious, every creature is both predator and prey, innovator and survivor. Some blend seamlessly into bark and leaf, others dazzle with warning colors, each strategy a gamble in the endless contest for a life. Here, wit and timing are as crucial as tooth and claw, and the margin for error is razor-thin. Camouflage and display, silence and song, each moment is a test, each day a triumph. As the sun climbs higher, the chorus of birds and the soft scurry of paws and claws become the heartbeat of Ruaha's hidden world. Unseen by the giants, these small lives are the foundation of the ecosystem. Beneath the feet of elephants and lions, unnoticed and unheralded, they maintain the balance of the land. The little lives of the glade persist, each heartbeat, each breath, a testament to resilience and ingenuity. With every sunrise, a new chapter unfolds, an unending story of survival, written in footprints, feathers, and the rustle of leaves. As the relentless African sun reaches its zenith over the Ruaha, the river's surface shimmers with heat, transforming this vital artery into a formidable barrier. The air is thick with anticipation, every shadow and glint on the water hinting at the dangers that lie beneath. Along the muddy banks, a swelling tide of wildebeest gathers, their bodies pressed close in a restless mass. Driven by the parched earth behind them and the promise of lush grazing ahead, they edge forward, hooves sinking into the soft mud as more join the throng, their numbers growing with each passing minute. The air vibrates with a chorus of anxious grunts and low, urgent calls. Each wildebeest senses the invisible threat lurking beneath the river's surface, their ears flicking and nostrils flaring as they communicate unease through subtle shifts in posture and sound. The river, at first glance, appears tranquil, its surface a mirror reflecting the cloudless sky and the golden savannah beyond. Yet beneath this deceptive calm, ancient predators glide silently, their movements masked by the murky depths and the play of sunlight on water. Crocodiles, relics of a prehistoric world, float with only their eyes and nostrils exposed, perfectly still, blending seamlessly with drifting logs and river debris. Their patience is legendary, their presence a silent threat. Some of these giants bear the scars of decades spent in this unforgiving river, their armored hides a testament to countless battles and narrow escapes. Their eyes, ancient and unblinking, track every ripple and movement along the bank. Younger crocodiles, lean and hungry, weave between the elders, their bodies slicing through the water with restless energy. The wildebeest sense their presence, hesitation rippling through the herd as instinct warns them of the peril ahead. At the river's edge, the leaders step forward, nostrils wide as they test the air for the scent of danger. Their eyes scan the water's surface, searching for the telltale sign of a lurking predator, a A swirl, a shadow, a sudden ripple. Instinct and necessity wage a silent battle within each animal. Ears twitch, muscles tense, and every sense is tuned to the slightest disturbance. A flicker of movement, the glint of a scaled back just beneath the surface. The herd surges forward, then stalls, bodies pressed so tightly that dust rises in thick clouds, obscuring the view and heightening the tension. The pressure of thousands behind urges the leaders onward, but fear holds them at the brink. Suddenly a single wildebeest, a matriarch perhaps, breaks the spell. With a powerful leap she plunges into the river, sending a spray of muddy water skyward. Her boldness shatters the herd's paralysis. In an instant the herd follows, a living torrent pouring into the river. Their hooves churn the water, their calls echoing off the canyon walls, creating a cacophony of panic and determination. The crossing has begun. From the depths, crocodiles erupt with terrifying speed, jaws agape, teeth gleaming in the harsh sunlight. Their attacks are sudden and explosive, targeting the weak, the young, and the isolated. The river becomes a maelstrom of thrashing bodies, water foaming and stained with mud. Wildebeest bellow in terror, their limbs flailing as they struggle to keep their footing against the current and the snapping jaws. Some wildebeest find purchase on submerged rocks, leaping from one to the next in desperate bids for safety. Others slip into deeper channels, swept away by the force of the river and the chaos around them. A calf, separated from its mother, is caught in the turmoil. Its eyes are wide with terror as a crocodile lunges, jaws snapping shut with a bone-crushing crack that echoes above the din. The herd surges around the stricken calf, the water swirling red in their wake. The river claims its toll, indifferent to the suffering of prey or predator. Yet for every life lost, dozens more press forward, driven by the unyielding force of survival. The migration cannot pause for grief. The instinct to reach the far bank is absolute. Not every strike finds its mark. Some crocodiles twist and thrash in empty water, their powerful jaws snapping shut on nothing but the river's current. Others emerge with only riverweed tangled in their teeth, their hunger momentarily unsatisfied as the herd surges past. Overhead, African fish eagles wheel in the thermals, their piercing cries slicing through the chaos below. They watch with keen eyes, ready to swoop down for scraps left in the wake of the carnage. On the far bank, the survivors scramble up the muddy slope, muscles trembling with exhaustion. Their flanks heave, sides slick with water and sweat as they collapse onto the grass, safe for now. The herd pauses, shaking water from their coats in heavy sprays. Each animal bears the marks of the ordeal, mud-caked legs, torn hides, and eyes wide with the memory of terror. They regroup, heads turning to look back at the river that claimed their kin. The crossing is over, but the memory of loss lingers in every glance and every wary step. In the shallows, crocodiles settle once more into the mud, bellies distended from the feast. Their eyes close in brief repose, the cycle of predator and prey momentarily at rest beneath the unyielding African sun. Here, in this crucible of survival, the river crossing is more than a journey. It is a relentless test of instinct, courage and the will to endure. Each crossing shapes the herd, forging survivors from the crucible of chaos. As the dust settles and the last ripples fade, the glade returns to a wary calm. The echoes of the struggle linger in the air, a haunting reminder of the price paid for survival in the wild heart of Africa. As the last rays of sun slip behind the horizon, the Ruaha riverbed lies cloaked in dust and fading gold. Here, the land braces for another transformation, a cycle as ancient as the stones beneath the river, written in the very bones of the earth. The seasons turn with a silent certainty. Each brings its own set of challenges and fleeting opportunities, shaping the fate of every creature that calls this glade home. The first rains arrive as a whisper, gentle drops tapping on parched earth, a promise carried on the wind. Far off, thunder rumbles, and the sky thickens with brooding clouds. The air grows heavy, charged with anticipation. The first drops strike the cracked ground, releasing a scent both earthy and electric, a signal to all that life is about to return. Grass blades spear upward, splitting the hardened crust. Within days, the landscape is transformed. Emerald shoots unfurl, painting the plains in vibrant green. Rivers, once mere ribbons of dust, swell and twist anew, carving fresh channels through the bush. Hidden pools collect in hollows, becoming vital oases for creatures great and small. With the bounty of the wet season, herds multiply. Antelope, impala, and buffalo gather in their hundreds, drawn by the lush grass and abundant water. Elephant matriarchs lead their families across vast distances, their memories guiding them to ancient waterholes and the freshest shoots. Calves, barely steady on their feet, learn the routes that will one day be their own. Zebras, impalas, and wildebeest graze side by side, their coats gleaming in the rain-washed sunlight. Each species, with its own strategy, navigates the feast and the dangers that come with it. For a fleeting moment, the savannah is a tapestry of abundance. Life surges, and every corner teems with movement and sound. Predators thrive on the surge of prey. Lions and leopards stalk through the tall grass, their senses sharpened by the promise of a meal. Frogs, insects, and birds erupt in a cacophony, their calls weaving a living symphony that fills the humid air. Yet this plenty is always temporary. As the rains retreat, the sun reclaims the sky. Heat shimmers across the plains, drawing moisture from every blade and leaf. Grass withers, turning brittle and yellow. Dust devils spiral across the open ground, and the once verdant glade becomes a patchwork of gold and brown. Waterholes shrink, their muddy banks crowded with tracks, evidence of nightly struggles for a sip of water. The competition grows fierce as resources dwindle. The strong defend their territory with vigor, locking horns in dusty battles. The weak are forced to wander further, risking encounters with predators and rival herds alike. Adaptation becomes the only law. Each species reveals its unique strategies. Some conserve energy, others travel by night, all are shaped by necessity. Giraffes stretch their necks to the highest branches, plucking the last green leaves from thorny acacias, their tongues deft and resilient. Elephants, guided by memory and instinct, dig deep into dry riverbeds. Their tusks unearth hidden springs, providing water not just for themselves, but for countless other animals. Lions and leopards grow leaner, their muscles taut beneath thinning coats. Hunger sharpens their patience. They wait, motionless, for hours, conserving every ounce of energy for the perfect moment to strike. Some species vanish from sight, burrowing deep underground or migrating across sun-baked valleys in search of relief. Their absence is a silent testament to the harshness of the dry season. Birds, too, are governed by the rhythm of the land. Some remain eking out a living among the sparse branches, while others take to the skies, following invisible highways to distant, cooler realms. With the first storms, swallows and bee-eaters return, darting through the air in pursuit of insects awakened by the rain. Their arrival signals the turning of the season. As the land dries once more, many birds depart, leaving behind the echoing calls of hornbills and the hollow silence of abandoned nests, reminders of lives lived and journeys begun. In the height of the dry season, the park falls into a hush. The midday sun presses down, and movement ceases. Life retreats into shadow and silence. Yet beneath every bush and within every hollow, life persists. Camouflaged and cautious, animals wait out the worst, their survival a quiet act of endurance. The baobabs stand as ancient sentinels, their swollen trunks storing precious water. For centuries they have weathered drought and flood, their presence a testament to patience and resilience. Termite mounds rise like fortresses, engineered with astonishing precision. Deep within, colonies thrive in cool, humid chambers, shielded from the relentless sun by their own ingenuity. Eventually the horizon darkens once more, Clouds gather, heavy with promise, and the air tingles with anticipation. The cycle is poised to begin again. The relentless rhythm of Ruaha resumes. Each creature senses the shift. Some prepare, others emerge. All are shaped by the eternal dance of drought and rain. Every animal here bears the marks of survival. Scars etched by struggle, eyes bright with vigilance, bodies honed by the demands of the land. Their stories are written in every step, every glance, every breath drawn beneath the shifting sky. In Ruaha, survival is not merely a contest. It is a living testament to resilience, ingenuity, and the quiet, unyielding power of adaptation beneath the ever-changing African sky. Here, life endures, season after season, in a world both unforgiving and magnificent. Gap 2s. As dusk deepens over the Ruaha Glade, a different kind of drama unfolds beneath the cloak of darkness. The riverbank, now a narrow ribbon of muddy water, becomes the stage for a nightly showdown, a silent contest of strength, cunning, and endurance that few eyes ever witness. Beneath the ghostly light of a rising moon, the nocturnal world stirs. Hippos, massive and unpredictable, lumber from their pools, their low grunts echoing between the reeds. They stake their claim along the water's edge, jealously guarding the last patches of soft grass from rival herds. Each encounter is a tense negotiation, signaled by yawns that reveal tusks as long as a lion's forearm, a warning as much as a threat. Yet the riverbank is not theirs alone. A family of crocodiles, ancient and patient, slides from the shadows, their armored bodies barely rippling the surface. In the inky water, their eyes gleam, a constellation of silent predators waiting for an opportunity. They know the patterns of the thirsty herds, the hesitations of a young impala, the fatigue of an old buffalo. Every ripple is studied, every movement calculated. But tonight, a new challenger emerges. A solitary bull elephant, gaunt from the long dry season, pushes through the undergrowth. His arrival sends a ripple of unease through the assembled animals. He dwarfs the hippos, his tusks gleaming in the moonlight. The bull approaches the riverbank with slow, deliberate steps, ears fanned wide, trunk testing the air for threats. Hippos snort and shift, unwilling to yield but wary of his size. The standoff crackles with tension, neither side eager to provoke a fight that could prove fatal. Crocodiles watch from the shallows, motionless and patient, their prehistoric eyes betraying no emotion. Suddenly, a young male hippo, emboldened by hunger and the presence of his herd, lunges forward with a guttural roar. Water explodes in all directions as the bull elephant swings his trunk, trumpeting his dominance. For a moment, chaos reigns. Hooves churn mud, jaws snap, and the night is pierced by the clash of giants. But the standoff ends as quickly as it began. The young hippo retreats, chastened, and the bull elephant claims his prize, a deep, cool drink from the river's heart. The hippo herd regroups, nursing bruised pride and plotting tomorrow's challenge. In the aftermath, the riverbank settles. The crocodiles slide closer, undisturbed by the commotion, ever hopeful for a misstep. Frogs resume their chorus, and fireflies flicker along the reeds. Above it all, the stars wheel silently, bearing witness to the nightly rivalries that shape life at the water's edge. Here, survival is not just about strength, but strategy. Each creature learning, adapting, and outmaneuvering its rivals beneath the watchful eyes of the African night. The riverbank remains contested ground, a place where every evening brings a new chapter in the endless saga of Ruaha's wild heart. As the chaos of the riverbank settles into uneasy calm, a subtler drama unfolds above the glade. In the hush of midnight, the air comes alive with silent wings. Ruaha's nocturnal sentinels begin their nightly patrol. A pair of Verreaux's eagle owls, shrouded in mottled plumage, glide between the ancient baobabs and twisted acacias. Their eyes, wide and unblinking, pierce the darkness with otherworldly precision. From their lofty perch, they scan the ground below, attuned to the faintest rustle, a rodent scurrying beneath fallen leaves, a restless hare testing the open ground. With a single, silent swoop, the male owl drops, talons extended, and vanishes into the undergrowth. Moments later he reappears, prize in his grasp, and returns to share the meal with his mate. Elsewhere, a colony of insect-hunting bats spirals above the river, darting and weaving with acrobatic grace. Their high-pitched calls, inaudible to all but their own kind, create a living sonar map of the night. Each bat is a master navigator, feasting on moths and beetles drawn to the water's edge. Their presence is subtle, yet vital, guardians of balance in the ecosystem's unseen hours. Even the nightjars, with their cryptic feathers and wide mouths, join the vigil. They skim low across the glade, scooping insects from the air with effortless precision, their soft, repetitive calls blending with the chorus of frogs and distant lions. Above the Milky Way spills across the sky, a reminder that life here is not confined to the earth or water alone. In Ruaha, the night belongs to the flyers as much as the beasts below, a delicate ballet of wings and whispers, every movement a testament to survival in the shadows. In this realm of darkness, the hunters and hunted trade places with the coming dawn. Until then, the night flyers keep their vigil, guardians of the Glade's secret hours, ensuring the circle of life continues, unseen but never unfelt. As the first hints of dawn blush at the eastern horizon, the Glade is far from still. Beneath the tangled roots and crumbling logs, another community stirs, a colony of termites, tireless engineers of the Ruaha wilderness. In the cool pre-dawn air, worker termites emerge from their fortress mound, their pale bodies glimmering in the faint light. Each carries a fragment of leaf, a grain of sand, or a droplet of dew, moving with single-minded purpose along invisible highways. Above ground, soldier termites stand guard, their powerful jaws ready to repel any would-be intruder. A curious mongoose sniffs the mound, but a sudden snap of mandibles sends it scurrying, deterred by the insect army's tenacity. The mound itself rises like a miniature citadel, its spires sculpted by millions of tiny jaws and relentless labor. Deep within, a queen presides, her body swollen with eggs. She is the heart of this hidden empire, her life entwined with the fate of the colony. Elsewhere, a pangolin shuffles through the leaf litter, its scales glinting softly as it searches for breakfast. With delicate precision, it unearths a trail of termites, its long tongue flicking in and out, gathering a feast one droplet at a time. Yet the colony endures, its numbers unbroken by predation, a testament to the resilience of Ruaha's smallest architect. As sunlight spills across the land, the mound glows golden, a silent monument to generations of tireless work. These secret architects, largely unseen, are the foundation upon which the Glade's giants walk. Their tunnels aerate the soil, their waste nourishes the roots, and their presence shapes the destiny of every creature great and small. In the world of Ruaha, survival is not only written in the chase and the hunt, but in the quiet industry of the hidden multitudes. The secret architects labor on, unseen by most, but vital to all, heralds of a new day, and silent keepers of the Glade's enduring legacy. As the golden light of dawn stretches across the Glade, a delicate transformation takes place, one woven not from soil or stone, but from gossamer threads suspended in the morning air. Along the low branches, between blades of dew-laden grass and across the empty spaces left by the night's travellers, spiders reveal their artistry with each silken strand. Orb weavers, patient and precise, repair the damage wrought by wind and wandering hooves, spinning intricate wheels of silk that glisten with beads of condensation. Tiny jumping spiders perch atop leaf tips, their jewel-like eyes scanning for movement, ready to pounce on unsuspecting prey. Elsewhere, funnel-web spiders retreat deeper into their shadowy lairs, their tunnels lined with sticky silk that awaits the trembling footsteps of an early insect. A breeze stirs, sending shimmering vibrations through the webbed tapestry, signals interpreted by the sensitive legs of the creators, each strand a lifeline and an alarm system. In the heart of a low shrub, a mother spider guards her egg sac, her vigil unwavering as hatchlings stir within, soon to join the silent hunt. The Glade's small birds, newly awakened, flit through the undergrowth, careful to avoid the sticky snares, but eager to snatch a careless spiderling exposed to the open. Yet, for every loss, dozens more survive, their numbers ensuring the persistence of the silk-clad hunters. As the sun climbs higher, the ephemeral veils begin to vanish, silk drying and disintegrating in the heat, a daily cycle of creation and erasure, repeated with tireless dedication. Here, in the quiet hours of morning, the Webmasters shape the fate of countless insects and, in turn, feed the birds, the reptiles, and the small mammals of Ruaha. Their artistry, fleeting yet essential, is another thread in the vast, interconnected tapestry of life. In the Glade, every web spun is a testament to adaptation, patience, and the subtle power of the unseen. Beneath the shimmering webs and the watchful eyes of the Glade, an invisible world thrives, one shaped not by the sun's rays, but by the cool embrace of the earth itself. Just below the surface, the ground is alive with the quiet industry of Ruaha's hidden engineers, the termites and ants. In shadowed chambers and winding corridors, termite workers move in tireless procession. Their jaws sculpt tunnels through hardened soil, ingeniously ventilated to maintain delicate balances of temperature and humidity. Soldier termites, armored and vigilant, guard the entrances with formidable mandibles, ever alert for the scent of invaders. Deep within the heart of the mound, the queen, swollen and pale, lays eggs in ceaseless rhythm, her offspring the beating pulse of the colony. Ant colonies, too, sprawl in complex networks. Leafcutter ants march in glistening lines, fragments of green held high above their heads. Back at the nest, these precious leaves are not food, but fuel chewed and cultivated into fungal gardens that nourish the entire colony. Scout ants venture far and wide, marking invisible trails with pheromones, while workers excavate new chambers and cart grains of sand to the surface, building and expanding their underground fortress. Each day, these subterranean architects transform the land. Their tunnels aerate the soil, allowing roots to breathe and rainwater to seep deep. Their discarded debris and nutrient-rich waste fertilize the earth, feeding the grasses and trees above. Even the predators, blind snakes and burrowing lizards, find shelter and sustenance in this labyrinthine world, slipping through the darkness in pursuit of a meal. Above, the Glade may seem still, but every blade of grass and every towering tree owes its strength to the ceaseless labor below. Together, termites and ants maintain the health of the ecosystem, unseen but indispensable. Tiny engineers whose quiet toil supports the grandeur of Ruaha from the ground up.